Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to each and every one of you. Welcome. My name is Gaurav Tekriwal and I represent the Vedic Math Forum India. Today we're going live with a clinical psychologist on the hot topic of maths and mental health. Today we're going to discuss with our guest here on mental health of students and mathematics. So before I bring her on, I would like to introduce her. Her name is Pragati Sureka. She's a licensed clinical psychologist working in the realm of mental health for the last 15 years. Apart from her dual qualifications in clinical and occupational health psychology, she has professional credentials from the Harvard Business School, Boston, the Psychometric Center at the University of Cambridge, UK, and Beck Institute in Philadelphia, United States. A very, very warm welcome, Pragati ji, on the show today. It's an honor to have you and discussing mental health of students of math. A warm welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here.
So, there's been a lot of questions about Vedic maths and a lot of questions about how it can help students get better mental health. So, here's my first question to you. So, what is mental health?
That's a very pertinent question you've asked, Gauravji, today. Because, while everyone is talking about mental health, like you said, it's like mental health kya cheez hai? So, in simple terms, mental health is our emotional, psychological, and social well being. And it actually affects how we think, how we speak, and how we act. Because, like they say, it's you can take a donkey to the water but you can't make the donkey drink it. It's a very popular proverb. So with mental health we are able to think, act, and behave the way we want to, not because of the way our situation is or how people around us are behaving. So one of the determinants of good mental health is, can I manage myself and cope up in spite of things that go my way or do not go my way?
Wow, that's a nice way to put it. So, why should students or why should anybody care about mental health? What is the importance of mental health?
That's a very pertinent question you've asked me today, and especially in the post-COVID zone. What's really happened is most people have been affected by depression, anxiety, or feeling as though they can't cope up. Yes, the pandemic brought home the fact to us that however well prepared we are, sometimes some things happen that are completely beyond our control. We may have enough resources or we may not have. But when push comes to shove, we have to manage with whatever is available. So why mental health is important is so that when things happen that we are not prepared for, we can still thrive, not just survive. When the pandemic hit, the first concern for everybody around the globe was how to survive. So what did we do? Based on the health protocols that were issued by World Health Organization and other government bodies, we learned to stress on our hygiene. We learned to mask up. Before things became okay, we learned to socially isolate, right? So even though it was something that we didn't know anything about, with our knowledge we tried to function better. Now with good mental health, what happens is we are ready to acknowledge that something is not working, something is bigger than what I'm prepared for. Now how do I use the things and the resources in my hand to enhance my emotional well-being or my emotional ability to deal with situations? So that is why mental health is very, very important. It's like daily bathing or daily brushing. It's a basic level of hygiene that we practice so that we are able to be our best, put our best foot forward. We feel fresh when we sit down to work, whether it's going to be an easy day on a vacation or it's going to be a very supercharged up day at work or at school, right? So with basics, we feel ki I'll feel fresh and energetic enough to do my work. So, in the same way, when we take care of our mental health on a daily basis, we are able to cope up with any resultant stress that comes out due to big things like the pandemic, which none of us knew anything about. Our closest resource point was more than 100 years back. Or it could be small things like oh, I'm stuck in traffic, I'm going to be late in school, or I'm going to be late for at my appointment. So that is why mental health is very, very important, because it gives us the bandwidth to face the day with aplomb and in the best way possible.
Wow, that's so nicely put. I'll take a moment here to all our viewers today. A big, big, warm welcome. Today we have with us Pragati Sureka ji live from the United States, Boston, where she's talking to us about mental health of students. I would just like to say time out and cheers to all the viewers out there who are watching us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and even on LinkedIn. A big, big hello. And please, please ask your questions if you have to, ma'am, regarding Vedic maths and mental health, and we'll be happy to answer. So there's some viewers. So let's bring them here. We have, let's see, Reni Chatterjee. She says hello. We have Vishakha Singh, who is also saying a big hello. Uh, Kumar Shubham Prashad says hello. Shubhajit Karmakar also says hello. And then we have Pavani Kintali, hello, good evening. We have Sharma who's saying hello. And then we have Shantini Sen who says kudos to VMFI for addressing such an important topic. So let's go to another question, Pragati ji. Will synthesizing mental health and math on the basis of social determinants help in equitable education initiatives? So,
Oh,
does it really help in
absolutely.
building the human capital of a country?
Absolutely, Gauravji. This is a very pertinent point. As you have been doing Vedic maths for the past 20 years, what is Vedic maths? If we really look at it, Vedic maths is a way in which the problem solving capacity of every human being can be enhanced, right? It's about how do you use certain skill sets so that you are not swept away by emotions. Usually what we say in psychology, amygdala is the seat of emotions and memories. That time when you're like, oh, I'm going to be calm and collected, I'm never going to lose my cool, then someone does something and you're like, boom, you have lost your cool and you don't know what hijacked you. So that is what the amygdala does. Now when we talk about our prefrontal cortex or the problem solving area, that's like the CEO or the executive of our whole body system and our human body. What that does is, it's okay, this is not going well, that is not going well, how do I solve the problem? Now with Vedic maths, what happens, it's like A plus B is equal to C. If you learn the skills, you can do that. So you learn to be calm and you learn to be in control if you follow a fixed protocol. So with mathematics, what happens is, in this uncertain world, you kind of learn that if I do things in a certain way, I am definitely going to be able to manage. So imagine, why do we struggle with mental health? Because we feel कि we won't be able to cope. क्या होगा? I'm not understanding. How does A plus B become C? Most people struggle there only. All they need to do is first have, it's like a cycle. If you're less stressed, then you're able to understand the concepts of Vedic maths better. If you understand Vedic maths better, then all the problems you face, you can actually put it like in a format. Ki, look, this is the challenge, this is the resources I have, and this is how I can manage it. So the world, from being a bundle of nerves or somewhere where it's unpredictable, becomes a very solution focused place where I'm like, hey, I can cope. I know 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. And Vedic maths has taught me how. Now, as you have been doing with your work with governments across the country, state governments, where, in very low resource settings, you have taken in 30 days to 60 days, you've made them realize, ki, look, maths can be done very comfortably. And that is your forte. I would let you talk about that. But just talking to people about, stress आपको है क्या? चलिए आपका स्ट्रेस कम करते हैं. Stress कम होगा तो you pick up the skills of mental of Vedic maths. Then with the skills of Vedic maths, you have better mental health. So what happens is, it's possible where it's not possible to send a wizard mathematician or a psychologist or a psychiatrist जहाँ primary care facilities low है, government resources or the state government's coffers are already pressurized. So we can actually synthesize both of them. Ki rather than treating them as two different zones. We understand कि दोनों काम तो brain में ही होता है. So how about taking them together, and with the least possible cost, we can do wonders, you know. And as you have been doing with projects, the Prime Minister tweeted your work with Vedic maths. And, you know, we have enough research and with the scientific journals where we intend to publish, you know, how mathematics and mental health can be synergized so that even in low resource settings, we can actually wonderfully tackle education as well as mental health together. So it's, I think,
Wow.
the need of the hour.
Wow. Wow. That's fascinating. Absolutely. So I just want to know from you, there are a lot of students across the world who suffer from math phobia.
Mhm.
So what happens exactly to the mental health of students who deal with math phobia and mathematics? क्या होता है उनको?
The biggest problem with maths phobia, it's like today I tell you, Gaurav ji, we'll have this conversation in Russian. What will your first impact be?
Oh, I
You'll
go
go in a
bonkers.
state. You're like, how will I talk? This is my show. I am live, and this woman wants to talk in Russian. What will I do? Because you have not learned the basic phonetics, or you've not been introduced to the language. So if you're pushed into it, you are going to struggle. With mathematics, what happens, it's literally like that. Basic skill building has not been done. So most people, even the parents at home, are like, maths hai, you know, tumse hoga nahi, roj practice karo. So the phobia about maths sets in. And there are, like, daily brushing with mathematics also, daily regular practice is essential. If you do it, A plus B is equal to C. Right, Gauravji? What do you
True.
say?
True. Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely, ma'am.
so you know why there is phobia with maths is because maths is not treated as a skill based approach which everyone can master if they given that minimum amount of time and the skill set, whatever tools you impart them. Once people learn it and practice it diligently, 2 plus 2 will always be equal to 4. It's not going to be today 4.3, today, tomorrow 4.6, and maybe one day 22. That's not going to happen. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So with mathematics, why the phobia is, it's like literally people are expected to do well at maths without the basic concepts being introduced to them in a simple manner. And like the Prime Minister tweeted, you know, about Vedic maths, he intends to make India the maths capital of the world. Now he can
Absolutely.
actually do it because with Vedic maths, and I would want you to tell our viewers a little bit about Vedic maths. How actually have you helped people combat their mental health stress regarding maths? I think that's very pertinent here at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I felt that when I start teaching Vedic math to students, suddenly the entire energy of the classroom changed. So they became more happy, they became more confident, and I think that added to the mental health of each and every student in the class. So let me ask you a question. So you gone through the Vedic math method yourself. So how does Vedic math help get better mental health for students?
See, I'll tell you one thing. With maths, what happens now? Most students are in the reptile brain mode, which is the survival brain. You know, that's the first part of our brain which developed. So, you know,
Okay.
like let's say you're walking in a dark alley. What happens is you feel somebody is walking behind you. You don't know anything, but you sense danger. So, you know, reflexively you turn. Now, how did that happen? That is your reptile brain. It's geared up for survival. Next comes, you know, if you feel I'm comfortable, that's when you have the emotional upheaval. This person is treating me nicely, that person is not treating me nicely. I have financial issues, this feels good, that feels good, because you're not worried about your survival, right? That's where your
Right.
emotions is. If Then there is another part of your brain which is like the CEO's chamber right on the top, which is here. So after
Right.
you feel ki, yes, you know, I am surviving well, and I am everything in my life is hunky dory, that's when we go into problem solving mode. Now if you look at it with real life, most of us are stuck here only. Either, you know, we get emotionally hijacked कि this doesn't feel good, itna stress hai, itna anxiety hai. So most of the time this area of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, is just not used only. It's too busy surviving day to day challenges. Now with mathematics, what happens is the phobia resides in the survival mode, because with traditional or with the popular methods right now, people are taught कि कैसे होगा maths, you know, तुम तो practice नहीं किए हो, इतना difficult है. Now with Vedic maths, what happens is you are able to bypass your reptile brain and your emotional hijack by amygdala, jo bhi hai. It's like, come, this skill set is there, that energy that you spoke about, that spark of confidence. Why did that come? Because it didn't matter आप पढ़ाई में अच्छे हो कि नहीं है, it didn't matter आपके पास world class tutors है कि नहीं है. Suddenly here comes somebody or a methodology which tells you, okay, आप यहाँ आइए सीधा और आप प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व कर सकते हैं. So that is what is the beauty of Vedic maths, because it helps you bypass all other basic survival mechanisms and puts you into the problem solving mode. And it gives you the skill set where you feel, yes, problems can be solved and I'm capable of solving my problems. Now imagine if every day every student feels like that, what would the level of emotional well-being and confidence be?
Wow, wow. I think it only shoot up. It'll completely shoot up. Awesome, awesome. So let's take a time out just for a couple of minutes. Let's say big hello to our viewers. We have Sabyasachi Mitra, who sends his greetings. We have Sampriti Roy, who says a hello. Uh, Sayed Haldar also says hello. And we have a question from Krishna Prasad Ke, is there any online teaching opportunity? Yes, Krishna, you can contact me personally and we can discuss that. There's a good question by Shantini Sen, who says, does Vedic math help in elevating the focusing power of an individual? Absolutely,
Absolutely.
Shantini. You want to add to that, ma'am? Please go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. Because like I said, focus, concentration, these are all the powerhouse of our brain, and maths builds up these skills. So, in an uncertain world, what all of us are looking for is certainty. Now, if we look at it and we expand a little bit, why does one talk about having a comfortable nest egg? Why do we want good education for our children? Because in time, we hope that they will have secure jobs, they will be financially stable, they will have a good home, and they will be able to enjoy as well as do the work, right? So with mathematics, what happens is, and now a young child, now these a
Yeah.
young child can't relate to it. The TV serial that the child could watch seems more attractive, or maybe chatting on social media with friends. Those are perks that will happen 10, 20 years later. So
Yeah.
the child cannot visualize it. So but when the child sees ki, oh, mathematics which I was struggling with, I can instantly get results, the child gets motivated to focus and to concentrate. So with time, what happens is, it's like a mindfulness practice, because
Wow.
you learn. Because when we tell children, yoga karo, deep breathing karo, they'll do it, but their mind is wandering. But when you're doing Vedic maths, you are completely in that moment, because you are using all your skills and your faculties to solve a particular problem. So naturally, your focusing power is getting elevated. And Gauravji, I think this is a good question, because in time we could probably take out a research paper on this also.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just can't wait organizing a good conference on Vedic maths and talking about this. We also have Minakshi Mishra who is asking us a question, which is please elaborate the concept a bit more. How does this help in balancing the mental health? How does
Thank
Vedic
you.
math and mental health balance each other? So take a shot at that.
Thank you for asking this question, because what is happening now, as I mentioned in the beginning, mental health is your psychological, emotional, and social well being. Now, how is it that we experience that? Most of us quantify well being. If I asked you what is well being, most people would say, Ki, haan, financially I'm stable, my health is okay, my relationships are good, and I can cope up with challenges, right? What do you say, Gauravji? Do you have any
Absolutely,
other?
absolutely. No, no, you're absolutely right.
Yes. So what happens is, now, whom are we teaching Vedic maths to? Primarily to school students. We can also actually look at teaching it to people in corporate jobs where they are struggling, because what happens is, when we talk of traditional mindfulness techniques, a lot of times not everybody can do yoga, not everybody can do deep breathing. If you're brutally honest, most people have racing minds where they can't calm their mind down enough to just focus on one thought. Now, with
True.
Vedic maths, it's a bit like doing Sudoku or the mandala art, which have actually been researched and they are spoken about. Carl Jung and a lot of other people have spoken about how using your hand or to do some kind of activity where the mind, the fingers, and the thought process, everything is taken in synergy. And when everything is taken synergically, what happens is we feel a sense of balance. Now, with mental health, what happens is our brain is a very, very smart organ. It's walnut shaped and it's right there. It does so many tasks that we can't even think about. Like, for example, right now, you and I are talking. We are
Right.
also breathing simultaneously. But are you and I thinking, I'm breathing, I'm breathing? If I don't breathe, I'm going to die. You
Not
know, so that's happening simultaneously. When I am talking, words are being strung together in a language. English is not the only language I speak. I, of course, speak Hindi, and I speak a smattering of Bengali, Oriya, and Sanskrit. So why is my brain only stringing words together in a particular language? So,
true.
so when we talk of our mental health, all of it needs to be in synergy. Now, these days, why do we struggle with mental health? Because we feel that mental health is like, a bunch of horses running in different directions which can't be reined. Now, with Vedic maths, we are like, look, I can hold you in this moment. Let's just get into problem solving mode. So rather than that complaining and blaming mode, I get into problem solving mode. And when I concretely solve mathematical problems, earlier on, if you see, most of our tests, SATs, and most of our entrance tests always have that analytical and logic section. Because why?
Right.
Why is it that used as a precursor? Because it's about an individual's ability to shrug off all the challenges but to focus on the task at hand. So, with Vedic maths, you actually can balance mental health from a very young age, irrespective of age.
Super, man. That's absolutely super. Uh we have Devjyoti Mitra who says good. We have Suraj Kumar Chaurasya who says love you, sir. And he also says we need to support our own cultural diversity. Which reminds me of a question. My last question to you would be, how can emotional well-being and Vedic math be correlated? And if you can add a message for all our viewers, that'll be amazing as well.
See, so when we talk of emotional well being, what is emotional well being? These days, trillions of dollars are being spent by the developed nations, on this concept of emotional well being in schools, in organizations, across federal government bodies, and everything. So, emotional well being is when you feel that the positives in my life are more than the negatives in my life. Right.
Right.
So, with when we talk of Vedic mathematics, what happens is it helps you feel ki yes, the so-called most difficult subject, I mean, of course, it's open to debate, is something which I can solve very well. So you actually feel ki my studies, I have more positive experiences with my studies rather than negative ones. So I hope in a very simple way that answers the question of how emotional well-being and mathematics are related.
Wow. Ma'am, I would like to thank you for taking time out and answering these questions about Vedic math and mental health and how the mental health of students get better. Would you have a last message for our viewers?
Absolutely. So, my one word message is have an issue, give ear to it. Ear means pay attention. Either journal about it, talk in a safe space, address the issue. Because when you talk about something, it is out of your system. And also, from ruminating about something or constantly worrying about an issue or getting anxious about it, what you need to do is think, okay, this is what is bothering me. Now, how can I solve this problem? So, the more we get logical about it and analytical about it, we are able to solve the issue. Because let's face it, for all problems, problems get solved in three ways. One is we decide that we can do something about it. Like, let's say for mathematics, most
Right.
people have phobia because they feel, how will I solve maths? So that is one way. So one is you realize, oh, I'm not practicing enough, you start off. Next is you
Right.
realize, no, I need someone to teach me better skill set, which is where Vedic maths comes in. Third is you realize, I don't like the subject, I don't have a flair for it, it's not so relevant. So you drop the subject, which we do after psychometric assessment. Or someone who, if who wants to be, let's say, a painter, may
Right.
not need mathematics. So that's not strictly true, because when we talk about geometry and basic shape and all that, that becomes relevant. So with any problem, if you have an issue, you need to know what to do about it. Let it go, solve it yourself, or take help of a third person. So my last word to everyone is, have an issue, give ear to it.
Awesomely put, ma'am. Awesomely put. With that, folks, we come to the end of today's talk session with Pragati Sureka ji. And it was absolutely fab having you here on the show today, the Vedic Math Forum India show. And we spoke about how mental health of our students get better with Vedic mathematics. So, on that note, give ear to your problems, give ear to maths problems, and wish you all the very best. And let's take it away from here. Thank you. Good day to each one of you, and may God bless. Thank you.